Tucked away in Everglades National Park, a few miles southwest of the Long Pine Key Campground, is a decommissioned Army Nike base, Site HM-69. It and three other sites were protecting the Miami area after the Cuban Missile Crisis. Free tours are offered by a park ranger.
This battery was Alpha. Bravo was located off Card Sound Road in Key Largo. Charlie was up on the northern part of Miami, and Delta was where the Chrome Detention Center is now. And what they would do is rotate a state of readiness. So one battery was hot, and that means all hands had to be on deck for 24 hours a day for a week in here on the base. Then the next week they would have pretty much slack time, and then week 3, as one other battery took over, then on week 3 that's when they would start taking things apart and putting it back together. In week 4, so by the start of the rotation again, they were all set to be ready to go. Had a barrier fence with guard towers that encircled the whole area, and then inside that, right here, you had a double fence with concertina wire on top, 8 feet between the two fences, and these were patrolled by guard dogs. Launch platoon commander's trailer, and all these trailers were like 7 by 7, 7.5 by 7.5 by 30, and made out of magnesium. And they were meant to be a mobile operation. Magnesium for 2 different reasons. One, they're light, so it's easily air transportable. But what's another feature of magnesium?
Burns like crazy.
Well, so should their position be overrun, they could just almost hit a lighter and the whole thing would just go poof. So they would put the missile with the warhead together in this building, do the electrical test, and they would build it on a trailer that looked like that. Then they would push them out when the alert happened, and these were never left out. So when the siren would go out, these guys have to run from here to their respective section barn, and people. So they're here, running over here. They had to push the missiles out, check all the circuits, make sure that everything was ready, push them out onto the launchers, which were, you had 3 launchers, one at each one of these very obvious pads where the launchers were. Do all the checks, get them up in the air, all within the 15 minutes, ready to fire. The Cuban Missile reunion in October, that they could do it in 10.
But so there were no silos here like the other Nike bases around?
Our water table is 14 inches off the ground.
Enough said.
These gyros in the missiles, every 20 seconds they would send him different information depending on what those target tracking radars were telling him to do. Would be pushed to indicate to the launch platoon commander here that they were ready to go. These same lights would be flashing up at the battery commander's trailer, control trailer, and so he had this guy, section crew chief, the launch platoon commander, verifying that these things were ready to fire, and that at that point in time the battery commander could push the button and fire the missile.
These are the tracks that would be wheeled out of the building, and the 3 pads. There's one, another 2 over there.
We all set to here? Let's go see a missile.
Second generation Nike missiles were stationed here from 1963 to 1979.
This is a 1960 version. They searched around and they found it back in the backfield of Anniston Army Depot in Alabama. They gave it to a Miami-Dade vocational high school up at the Miami International Airport. And they're the ones that took it apart and put it back together. This is probably the best vocational high school in the nation. But when they graduate from that high school, they have an FAA certificate for all the, airframe, instrumentation, whatever, and they can get a job with the American Airlines or any of them right from high school. If they want to go into the service after high school, they are immediately taken in as an E4, E5, just because of their respect for it, because of their background and their education. This is high tech, okay? So this thing fires, and when this burns off, it's no longer producing thrust, so it just falls off, falls away. And they had a piece of wire lanyard on top, high tech, that when this fell away, the lanyard would pull a switch on this to light the main rocket motor. And nothing fancy. Okay, so the other rocket motor's here, the warhead is right here, and then the nose cone is where the guidance system is. And when you had all the missiles that were on the launchers, this would be outside, and they would plug the wires, just big control wires this big, they would plug in and do all the circuit testing and raise the missile on the launcher from here on all three sections before these guys ran in.
This is the bunker where the men would go when the rockets were going to be fired. The base was completed in 1964 on land previously occupied by a farm. Approximately 140 crew members operated the site, which consisted of 3 above-ground launch units, each with 4 missiles. Tours by the park ranger are available from December to April, and your entry fee into Everglades National Park includes the cost of the tour.